I just want to quickly make this video talking about how music is supposed to be therapy in a world where the music business wants to tear you away from that therapy. I just tried to make a video where I was making a beat using Suno to make a sample, and then I was going through and explaining my process of how I like to layer things up and build ideas around it. And it was over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of footage. And I started going through the footage and I realized that it all sucked and I scrapped the entire video, which is fine. You know, that happens. Same thing with making a song and scrapping the song. This last 6 months, I've been making videos, what feels like nonstop. I'm constantly thinking about a video idea and coming up with these. I'm not getting paid to do these or anything, but it's just like something I wanted to try out to practice what I preach when it comes to the artists that I talk to, because I preach it all the time with the artists that come to my studio. For those that don't know me, I've been an audio engineer for 16 years, full time. My whole life is recording artists, mixing their songs, making them sound as best as possible, coaching them into the right recordings, so on and so forth, trying to help them get better. A content creator is new to me, and in the beginning, you know, I'm all on fire for it, and it's been going pretty good. You know, I've just been making lots of videos, chipping away at it, learning how to make videos, learning how to talk to a camera without stuttering every 2 seconds. But this last couple weeks, I've just not been in the mode. I just haven't really wanted to make videos. But I know how important it is to stay consistent through those times. And that is where a lot of people give up. And I'm trying to say through this video, not to give up in those times. We have to learn as musicians, as hobbyists, as professional musicians, how to deal with these seasonal spikes of creativity and work ethic, and how to balance all these things, including regular life, which is also a huge deal. Let's talk about the seasonal aspect for a second. A lot of musicians don't understand that it's hard to just be consistently creating nonstop all year long, every year for 20 years, which is what it takes to be somebody who's, you know, in the music industry, living life off of music. But it doesn't quite work that way. A lot of times you'll get a couple months out of the year where you'll be the most inspired, and you'll just listen to music and it'll make you want to create, and you'll just spend all your time basically dumping out ideas. And then you'll have these like couple months before and after that are like you thinking about your goals and trying to come up with them and working on them. Then you'll get these like really like low times when you don't want to make anything and you just want to do anything else besides that. Part of that is because, you know, it's unnatural to be creative all year long. I mean, it's to make this a job, you have to unnaturally be creative all the time. And as an audio engineer, I could say that with certainty that that's the way that it is. I show up, it doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not. If somebody wants me to help them work on a part or develop something, I have to use my skills that I've learned to be able to do that no matter what. I could be in really dark times outside of the studio, but as soon as I show up to the studio, I got to be a superhero. And I have to perform just as well as I do on my best days. I have to strive for that, to build a consistency for myself. And that's really hard to do. And I think it surprises a lot of artists that get into this and they notice that like maybe one time out of the year that they're really pushing hard. And then once they stop, it goes away, and then they have to come back, restart their career basically, and all of that momentum that they've built. And it's easy for me to say, well, you need to be building up all the time. You need to be developing a pathway forward no matter what, because that's what it takes. That consistency is key. What other job would you be able to just take a bunch of time off when you're trying to build a career? Like you want to build a pizza shop and, you know, January, February, March, you're on fire. And then, you know, when you hit July, you're not really feeling like making pizzas anymore. Well, so what? You've got rent to pay, and you've got bills, and you've got employees. And no matter what, you have to see it through. All of a sudden, your love for pizza can start to dwindle down a little bit. In the music world, I've seen it ruin people's motivations. I've seen it kill their love for music. And I think that's like the worst thing in the world. You have to build a balance that you're able to maintain. But at the same time, you have to know how to relax in these seasonal times of motivation and have different pathways for different feelings that you feel throughout the year. If you're a touring musician, you might know this already because you have times when you're in the studio and you're at home and you're doing that, and then you have to immediately go out and go on the road, and you're on the road for a while, and then you come back and you've got this time to spend with your family, and then you have to get ready to go again. It forces you into almost like a seasonal back and forth. Imagine just being on tour, almost every single day of the year, or traveling to be on tour, or to be a celebrity who's constantly moving and constantly going. The people that are able to do that are the ones that are the most successful that you see all the time. Because guess what? They're in front of the press. They're in front of photographers, videographers. They're constantly creating ideas and coming up with stuff. And in the beginning, it's really hard to develop that kind of grit that you can make it through these seasonal times with. But my advice to everybody is to, first of all, don't freak out if you're not feeling inspired or anything like that. I don't really want to make videos right now, but I'm finding ways to still stay consistent and still keep on chipping away. Maybe it's a little bit less than when I'm at my most motivated points, but it's still enough to keep me going and not drop the momentum. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to work on your music when it feels good, when it feels like you want to create, and on your off seasons where you're not really that motivated, I want you to work on your workflow. If you record yourself from home, I want you to develop your template better. Don't worry about making a song. You shouldn't be working on songs while you're trying to make your sound better anyways. But work on your setup. Get your setup better. Part of the issue, the reason why I didn't release this video that I was talking about, is because I have so many setup issues here that it was a problem the whole time. I would have had to spend hours to clean it up. I just don't feel like doing that. At the studio, we spend a ton of time getting things set up so when you walk in the door, everything's ready to go. But I spend all that energy at the studio doing that. But when I get home, I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to spend hours setting up my system and getting everything tightened up. But I should. And maybe instead of trying to come out with 3 videos a week, plus a bunch of short form content for my other platforms, I can do a little bit less and then also focus on getting these things set up. So when I am inspired, I could just hit record and everything goes to plan. And I know exactly what to expect with everything and so on and so forth. You could be doing the same thing. I can't tell you what that is unless we talk to each other and we actually work together. But just know that it's possible to stay busy, to stay consistent through those times where things are weighted heavier towards the boring, mundane work stuff versus the motivated stuff. Through my whole life, music has been like a therapy thing for me. Even to this day, when I'm working on music, it's just like a therapy. It just helps me balance my mind out. And when you don't feel motivated, it's almost like your therapist is going away and you have nobody to talk to. And that can also freak you out and make you spiral out of control as far as your plans and your motivations and your goals. But again, the first step is to not freak out. It's okay that you're going to have times when you're not going to be as creative or not creating as much. That therapy will come and go throughout life. It'll be here for a long time. If you're new as a musician, you might freak out thinking it's all over, but it's not. Just relax and, do some subtle practices. Just make sure you pick up, if you're a guitar player, just make sure you pick up the guitar and play some scales or something like that for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Keep chipping away at it. Don't spend an insane amount of time trying to push through it unless you really have to for a project or a deadline. But just put something in front of you every day that you can chip away at. just a little bit. Preferably things that make it easier when you are motivated. Don't let your down times ruin your love for music. Don't let the music industry and the constant pressure of trying to have to produce ruin your love of music. The people that win and succeed are people that find a balance that they could constantly try to rebalance throughout time. Because guess what? There's no such thing as an actual balance. It's just how well you could balance at that moment. So get better at learning how to balance your life, your music, your creativity, and your goals, and stay consistent with that. It'll always feel like you're out of balance. But if you don't freak out and you don't let that anxiety of you hating being a musician, overwhelm you, you can relax, take a couple breaths, and just work on a couple steps forward. This is especially true for music like beat block or music block or writer's block. That could be the most frustrating times, but just treat those as just simple exercises. Just being able to simply open up your DAW or pick up a guitar or spend time writing a couple hooks. Even if those hooks suck, who cares? We're just trying to keep the muscle going. You don't have to always grow the muscle, but just to keep it alive, to keep it fresh. That's one thing that is extremely important. If you guys like this content, like, subscribe, do all the things that I'm supposed to tell you to do. Or don't do them. I'll talk to you later.